All right, I'll call to order the Public Works and Utility Committee, Lisbon Village Hall, Wednesday, September 17th, 2025, present time 5:02 p.m. Roll call, please.
Trustee Moonen,
Present and chairing.
trustee Beal. Here. Jane Miller. Here. Joe Everly,
Here.
Dan Pless is absent, Administrator Green,
Here.
PW Director Wilakowski,
Here.
and Clerk Capasso.
All right, we'll stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Citizen comments, we'll start in person. Seeing no one in the gallery. Zoom check.
No one present on Zoom.
Nobody present on Zoom, last call. Hearing none, we'll move to approval of meeting minutes. 8/20/25, Public Works Utility Committee meeting minutes are in your packet. Any questions, comments, or a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Motion made by Jane. Second. Seconded by Joe. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 4-0. Departmental reports. Department of Public Works, DPW Director Nick Wilakowski.
All right, so for the month of August, as you know, we had a flooding event, so a lot of guys worked on just catching up on some repairs, washouts, culverts, debris removal, etc. Had 2 road cross culverts that we replaced due to that event, and so we took care of those. They took care of those, and then some truck work now going into fall here. You can see some of the pictures. Crank position sensor seems to be the thing of the year. We replaced, I think, like 4 of them now and throughout the trucks, so that's been fun. Then maintenance on a lot of the shop things going in the fall here while the parking lots got seal coated, and repairs at the 9/11 memorial. You guys did, and we're on our final cut for mowing, so we're cutting things back in the right of way and everything before winter, so kind of things looking good. And parks, they had their own flood damage with ball fields getting washed out of all the turfus. They did a bunch of mulch work and boardwalk repairs and doing some backstop and dugout repairs with gravel and mulch on that with the memorial, as you can see. That. And then for me, same with the flood damage things. We had to go on a few calls for Waukesha County that they hosted. Worked on capital budget items. Worked Mitch for Plainview, keeping in touch with him as the paving went on, and that's finished right now. Just needs to be restored with topsoil, and me and him are in discussion with that, and we got some things to go over how it turned out. Also, I think we're planning for that for this Friday. And we lent Germantown our wheeled excavator as theirs was down, and they got it pretty bad over there with the flooding, so they used our machine for kind of garbage stuff that they loaded out. So it was nice helping them out for that. And yeah, that's about it.
You have a lift over at the garage for the trucks?
Yep, we have a
Oh,
lift.
okay.
Yep.
Anything else for Director Wilakowski? No. All right, utility district. Kunkel Engineering Group is not present tonight. Guess I'll do my best to read their information. September 10th, 2025. Addressed to our utility committee from Mr. Don Neitzel. This is the monthly report for August. The monthly engineer report is as follows. August 2025 flows based upon the rainfall that was received during the month of August. The flows for the Geneva and Plainview lift stations increased substantially for the month of July. For Geneva, they had an average flow of 41 gallons per minute for the month of August. Well, the month of July was at 19, so quite a substantial increase there. Plainview, average flow of 38 gallons per minute. July was at 20. Willow Springs flows were significantly higher with an average flow of 90 gallons per minute for the month of August compared to 19 for the month of July.
There's a message.
Yep. As you'll note on the monthly flow charts, the flows for Geneva, Plainview, and Willow Springs were considerably higher than the flows that were recorded for the same months in 23 and 24. This month is a good example of how precipitation can impact a municipal sewer system and how long its effects can last. For Richmond, Willow Station had a total runtime of 50 hours with 25 hours on pump 1 and 24 on pump 2. It was an average of 0.8 hours of runtime each day. Well reading for August was 12,800 gallons. The prior month was 17,700. See the chart for further. Fire station well, August was 5,900 gallons, while the water usage in the prior month was 71. Casey's well in August, water usage was 21,646 gallons. Previous month was 17,573. Rains in line with what we were seeing last month. About the same was recorded for the month of July in 2024. I know Don's not here to provide rebuttal to any questions, but does anyone have anything that needs to be brought forward for addressing next month?
The Richmond Fire Station, the July reading was high because they filled that cistern.
Okay.
And we just had. Pump that just went out Friday. So we had to get the most in place. Probably because it's up to Richmond. That and you fill up. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, is that the fire station you said?
I guess just for. Not that that well shouldn't handle that, but I mean, more of a cost-effective approach might be to purchase water. And have it brought in to refill that, since it's for a fire department purpose.
Yeah, I mean, even if we get billed for it, it might make more sense for them to fill it up in Sussex or wherever for the minimal amount that they charge. That's fair.
Oh, we have one tanker?
We have one at each station.
One of these stations.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
then I think their engine probably holds like 1,500 gallons too.
I think that's a good point, though, as opposed to, that's probably a residential wall pump to kill there anyway, but just curious. I'm surprised that's the original one.
Might not be, but. The building's not that old, so that well.
That building, and they checked their in for 24 hours. It's great. So actually pulled out pretty fast. I thought it was gonna be 2 days running, but.
Yeah.
24 hours, the ran straight and filled it.
Was it just considered burned? They burned the motor out? Because of running?
Yeah, I didn't get talked on the dollar to it. Was a culprit really, but the wall pump was something.
And then I did give you correspondence regarding Willow Springs and Bridgman as well, but more so based on his report, Willow Springs with those high readings. That we can look at figuring out how we're gonna go after them. Fixing their I&I issues. So I'll work with Don on that. We just got that letter late last week and haven't had time to put face with Don.
Can we put that on next month and
I'll
Well,
try to have
and-
some draft letters for you guys too.
all right.
I think we should also put on, looking at the first page of Don's report here. If you look at the increase in flows at Janine and Plainview, also, we need to also start addressing those contributory areas after we get through with Richmond and.
You don't
Rolling
want to get
Springs.
too many things going at once.
I know, but all I'm saying is we keep it on there because eventually we're gonna have to deal with those two areas also.
What does, do we know what areas Janine and Plainview Station?
Should be able to tell from the stuff that Kunkel put on the GIS system, and Don should be able to just outline that area, the two contributing areas.
You can filter it in that digital map that you sent us. Actually, you might not have been here when we sent that.
I think he sent it to me, like,
All right, any other requests? Well, it's item 8, but while we're on the DPW or Kunkel report. All right, here none. 6A, discussion and necessary action regarding supplemental insurance quote from the League of Municipalities. We've been talking about this for a few months now. This is not the entire policy, but I think Dan, you went back and got some clarification on the questions we had.
Yeah, so it talks about the single occurrence annual aggregate coverage and what its caps are. I did talk a little bit more with our agent. They said that roughly 35% of their community that they insure take this. And after speaking with the board, I just don't think it's worth it. I think we're basically becoming middlemen for additional insurance that they could purchase. My opinion, I don't think it's. I did provide some of the coverage details that they sent me. Nothing that I see would make it worth it for us.
Not for $20,000.
Yeah, I had no correspondence from anybody in the service area that said we should do it.
Well, at least we know. Good information.
I guess I'll make a motion to deny partaking in the supplemental insurance quote from the League of Municipalities. Motion's been made to deny by myself,
Second.
seconded by Jane. Any further discussion?
Nope.
All opposed in denial, say aye. Aye. And opposed denial, say nay. Hearing none, is that 4-0?
Sorry, you you said that.
So
backwards To me,
Did I say it
so
backwards?
I thought it was like the double negative that you wanted
Yes,
it,
in
so.
favor of denial.
In
say
favor
aye.
of denial,
We ain't getting it.
I believe the consensus is 4-0. It made sense in my head, and that's what mattered.
As long as the recorder gets it right, it doesn't matter what we say.
My wife may have a point, but it won't take up in public forum. Discussion only regarding sewer service area amendments. This is an ongoing topic and purposes just to be able to put updates from Dan as well as questions from for committee that want to go to staff. So Dan, do you have any update?
No, not really. Tom Ludwig will probably be giving updates to this committee and to the village board once we get to that point. I think most of the issues we're gonna address are the comp plan first, so we probably won't see any updates on sewer part or. So, I emailed Warren today to get a introductory meeting to get that process started.
You had mentioned it costs money to have the sewer, costs money, $28 or something like that, you mentioned. Page or something to have it filed and you weren't in favor of doing that until. A
Oh,
certain
that's number letter C.
C.
Any other questions from the committee? Nope. Hearing none.
Is this something that we want to put on monthly no matter what? Or only when there are updates from our contractor?
Let's just keep it on there because otherwise I think technically we'd have to table it and recall
Sounds good to me. Thank you.
it. 6C, discussion only regarding possible future updates to sewer service code. Dan?
So I didn't reprint the sewer code unless it was required, because we had printed it 2 meetings ago, that was the one version. If we want to discuss it now, we can. But like I had mentioned before, now that we're gonna go through this sewer code, the sewer service amendment, there's gonna be a lot of changes, I think that. Take place over the next year, so I don't. Start it now, or if we wanna kind of go along as maybe, gives us, or both engineering gives us recommendations on certain things. We can look at the difference.
I think it'd be a waste of time.
To do individual
Well,
updates.
yeah, I mean. There's gonna be a lot of changes and a lot of additions to this. That are gonna occur over time, so why spend the time now when we may end up. Going around in circles for a while.
And I disagree. I actually think if we can firm up the ordinance to present to sewer pack. It's my understanding that they want to see what your sewer ordinances are. So if we have a version that might be even close. I think we should, personally, I think we should finish it and present something that's reasonable. And then there would just be smaller adjustments.
I agree.
So we have a recent one that we sent to planning commission. How much have we changed since then?
Well, we had a red line version that we sent to this committee.
Yes, but didn't the changes to that one come back from planning commission?
Thank you.
No, because this committee never finalized approval on any changes.
We have a red line version already.
So if anything, I'd like to maybe finalize the version that we did. A while
The
ago.
one we did
is-
last year or the one from a month or two ago?
If we didn't I was under my impression, I was under the impression that it went to the board and was adopted. But if it wasn't, then
No, I think the one you're thinking of, didn't that one go to planning commission?
We sent it. We sent it out to the commissioners to make comments. Joe made, track changes, I made some track changes, and then, it was never actually talked about. I think because we talked about not knowing where that sewer service amendment was going, that we were gonna put it off. But if we wanted to tackle it,
because I think your amendment is gonna be. Geographical. I mean, it's not telling you how to operate your system necessarily.
You're right.
So I think if we need our operating rules in place.
well, the scope of what they're going to do is look at everything. So they're gonna look at the facilities with Sussex, they're gonna look at our facilities, they're gonna look at our code and determine whether we need to do. Provide hookup fee, sections in the code, they're gonna look through everything we have. And then determine if it needs to change, and my assumption is, and I don't know, maybe not, but that they would do that before they submitted it to sewer tax.
Okay.
So that we have a better chance of getting approval, because this isn't just a small amendment. to Full service.
Right, no, I understand
So,
that part.
I think they want to get all of that stuff done before, so there's a better. chance of Sewer tax. Things approved.
I think we need.
But I
to-
mean, I think you're right, there's nothing wrong with us looking at it. Starting.
But there's a bunch of stuff that's not in here, it's gonna be like assessment policies and payment, I mean, all that stuff, none of that is addressed in here. We gotta do that, but I believe is until we know what it is going to probably be, we can't even draft that.
Yeah.
And we clean up what
It's
we've
still
got here.
policies that we're gonna need at some point,
Exactly.
regardless of what the sewer pack study says.
Exactly. We have to have a base. We can always change it and add to it.
I guess, I think a fair compromise is to take both of those opinions. Give them to both. And
Wow.
see what they want. I mean, do they want us to approve a policy before it goes?
We haven't gotten into the nitty-gritty details, we just approved. Going forward with both, we're gonna have to go, so.
Well,
We just signed the contract.
no, I understand that, but I mean, is it something that they could just give a hypothetical advisement on? I mean, I think both their points are valid.
I can email Tom tomorrow and just say, hey, this is where we're at with the sewer code, what is your recommendation, should we continue to do work on it, or
That would probably be
not?
good.
And if he says, yeah, there's no harm in doing that, then then if I resend it out to everyone, can folks make either comments or, you know, either go, I'll send it in words so you guys can actually make
Okay.
changes. If you don't want to do it, email me with, you know, some suggested changes, and then we'll talk about it in October.
Once we get it, the next version from you after it went to full.
I'll send both, I'll send it to both, but I guess what I need to know from him is, are they okay with us making changes from our end?
Okay,
So we can, because there are other policies that aren't necessarily related to sewer hookups, like. Random pumps and things like that, so,
that is part of my concern is that we're operating without
Yes.
any
Yes.
clear guidance right now, and there are things that are gonna come up as we're working through the script.
but, so I will do that, and then tomorrow, I'll send out that Word document to everyone. Yeah.
Can you, is there any way that you can enlarge that lettering, what I picked up the paperwork the other day, yesterday? Cause I'm having a problem with my eyes,
You-
and so I'm having a hard
Blow it
time.
up.
You can enlarge it. Let me know then, I can pick it up. Thank you.
Are you okay if I don't have like the margins of all of what was there and just have? Cause that's what makes it condensed like that, is when you have everything that we did on the side margin.
Can we move over a little bit? Will you print it?
I know, there's no margin left on this.
I mean,
The only way you can do it is to run it through the copying machine on 11 by 17.
I
And
can
make
blow
a
it up
hard
on a
copy.
PDF.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So it's a discussion, only don't need any action. 7A, discussion and necessary action regarding the 2026 sewer utility budget. There was a draft copy placed in the packet. It is rather short. Do we want to start on the balance sheet or the sewer utility budget?
we start on the utility budget. The balance sheet is more for this. It's really hard based on. We set this sewer utility budget up new this year because we didn't have the sewer utility last year. So it's hard to see what your bottom line, how much you actually have. And so that's why the balance sheet is printed, so you can basically add up the four first lines on the balance. Total balance. Which is around 840,000. Sewer budget itself. We are anticipating an increase in user fees. There was an increase from last year to this year, and it was hard to determine based on the January 1st, 2025 budget that was approved, because they had no money in the interest income column. So it appeared that the user fees went up from 420,000 to 451,000, that there was a significant rate increase from one year to the next. But in reality, that 451,000 accounts for interest. And so if you look at the 2025 estimated year end, it's only going to be around $409,000. So we're looking to try and get that total up to 425,000. We are anticipating a somewhat of a reduction in interest income, because for one, the interest rate slightly went down today, and two, because of the cost of that, the sewer or the facilities upgrade that was done in Sussex, that's a big chunk of money that's now not great. So the 425, that represents a $10 increase in rates. That does not include any rate increases for commercial. That is something that Natasha and I want to work with Suffolk to determine how we can increase, what rates we can increase, because there are multiple charges on commercial accounts. And our assumption is that the administration charge or the admin charge of minor sewer bills that we can increase those costs. So this isn't a final budget, but just so that we're aware, there will be some increase in residential and there will be commercial. Otherwise, this budget does show a $9,000 surplus which great, we're putting $79,906 in the depreciation expense. That was based on a Eller's study from when we originally proposed whether we should borrow or take Jennifer our funds to pay for the upgrades. And so that was the number that they had, so I used it.
When you say upgrade, explain upgrade.
That's the facilities updates that.
We all pay for?
did, That, yeah. So that expenditure is actually shown under maintenance and repairs. I want to get it out of there at some point, but we didn't really have a way to show it in the budget. Because we're still working on the bookkeeping side of sewer, but what we'll probably do is create some type of capital expenditure account where we can put that in, so it's not showing as part of the operating budget. But for now, I just wanted to make everyone aware of kind of what that did as far as our budget overall. And what we're how much we're over budget this year based on that. Granted, that was a plan for expense. However, I think that the plan for expense was $130,000 less than what the bids came back at, which is why we had to go back to Ellers. We got the funds to pay for it still. We have to have a certain amount of reserves for repairs, depreciation, that sort of thing, but they Ellers told us that we're still in good shape, even with the increased cost on the system. We do have, so we were paying Mike Sargent to manage these. We did allocate staff, some of staff's time because of facility takes up staff time to sewer. Most is Natasha, some is myself, and some are the two ladies that help Natasha with the billing. Taking it. They're small allocations, but Natasha's is a little larger, I think, 30%. Which probably still isn't even equal to the time she spends on it, but we wanted to try and keep that expense similar to what we had Mike Sargent.
When I look at this, unless I'm looking at it wrong, Dan, the estimated year end is $11,130, and you're proposing $17,970 for $6,800. It's costing us money, extra money for staff.
Oh, the staff. That's because we didn't start allocating until one thing. So we only are allocating staff time for the half of the year. So that's why the 11,130 is 21,000, 20,000.
Why,
His expenses weren't that much.
23,000, 21,000. Yeah,
Hmm.
23,400, 21,500.
we're not insignificant.
No, I know toward the end, because he was doing all of this work to get it ready for Lisbon and stuff, but his normal salaries were pretty reasonable. So I would anticipate that's what it will be from now, or that would be, because we were always told it's gonna be comparable to what we were paying him. But again, he had so many hours in it because of the transfer. But if you look back at his maybe regular pay, it's not that much. So I'm a little uncomfortable with that personally.
Okay, I can go back and see what he was getting paid in 21, 22. See what those numbers are.
Thank you. Another question I've got, we've got the same amount of users. Why is, I know postage went up a little bit, but why is postage increased $2,000? When the town last night lowered theirs and ours is increased, not the town, sorry, the village.
200.
$200.
It's $200.
Oops, let me see. Am I
Because we don't
looking
know
at it?
what those postage rates are gonna,
Oh, I'm
they're
sorry.
changing
I'm looking at
postage,
it
yeah.
wrong. It's my eyes.
Oh,
I'm so
okay.
sorry.
yeah, it went up $200 just to be safe, and if we're
Oh,
under budget, then
That I
great.
can see. That I can see. Sorry.
Problem. And then we did talk about insurance a little bit last night. We are allocating the costs of insurance for the lift stations from our town policy to sewer. I don't have those numbers yet, so 3,000 is just a filler. It could be less than that, I'm not sure, but those lift stations are valued at $350,000 to $400,000. So probably will be somewhere in a couple grand.
Linda, if you're done, I've got a question on the fourth to the last expense item.
Sure.
It says engineering administration. Is that for billing purposes? And why are we not showing any money in the budget for that for next year?
We're not showing anything for engineering, admin,
What is that
expenses to
line?
build custom.
Yeah. Isn't that? Billing?
Yeah, and I think because,
It's in salaries. Isn't it?
no,
Oh,
this
it's
is,
cost
this
of
would
building.
be if
Yeah, I know.
we had to charge back somebody engineering fees or something, so maybe. I think the thought was that if we have to bill a customer, then we'll just bill them back in the same budget code.
It's in and
So
out.
we probably have a,
Okay,
this probably will end up being 0 at the end of the year, not 4,000. And we probably have an outstanding bill of 2381. I know part of that's probably Mr. Rockers.
okay. I mean. If it's expense someplace else, and maybe that line item go away, because as you mentioned, these. Like expense items are gonna go.
Wouldn't you want to, I think you're gonna want to have just a general engineering, something in a general engineering budget that wouldn't be associated with.
Yeah, we have engineering fees right above it. That's where
Okay.
most of the
That's,
So,
yeah, that's separate.
I think what the other part of that is we may put the revenue that we get from billing those fees to utility miscellaneous revenue.
Okay,
So you might see that there. So maybe that number actually. Yeah, I just don't think it happens very often that we anticipated.
Okay.
Like that can come, but
and then the other question I have is the treatment expense, is that based upon what? I assume information we got for next year from Sussex?
the 686, oh, the treatment expense.
Yeah.
At this point, no, I gotta, now that Judy's out, I gotta talk to Secret. What, What
Have they
she
replaced her yet? They have?
then I'll reach out to that. But
Yeah,
I
whether,
think
I
we
mean,
went based.
he,
off of-
she, or it, I mean, the reason I ask is that both has gotta have a discussion. Sitting at a table with whoever that person is, because there's a bunch of questions that have to be answered for them to do their work, and I didn't know what the status was. But you said they hired somebody?
Yeah, I don't know.
I hope that whoever they hired has got experience in treatment plants and.
I
Us,
hope so.
and they didn't just go cheap and dirty and hire somebody who doesn't know what to do.
To say there's not a lot of people out there these days, so
I know,
sometimes you gotta take what you can get.
we need somebody that can answer questions.
But the 195 is, I looked at all of the expenses that we had, as far as that we were paying Sussex, and I did an estimation that the rest of the year was gonna be somewhat similar.
Okay.
So I got,
Yeah,
and then 210, then we could increase that, we just don't know. But again, so if that goes up, then the user fees will go up.
well, I would think that Sussex as a whole would know what that number will be. Because they're not starting on doing that budgeting if they just hired someone, that work should already, so you should be able to get a.
Hopefully
decent-
Judy had all of that.
Okay, thank you.
Just to address Linda's question about, the salaries for utility staff. If we are at 17,971, we're about $7,000 less than we were in 2023, so. We're actually substantially lower. Cause in 2022, we spent 24,546 on, deputy secretary and bookkeeping expenses.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, it is something new that our staff hasn't done before, and it does take, I know it takes a lot of Tasha's time. Tasha and I go through this together quite often. Like I said, the other two girls I'm billing 500 residential bills, commercial bills. 15, so from that.
Was
I
Mike
mean-
paid at an hourly rate that we could just take?
Yes.
Then we figure out what his rate is times all of your staff time.
We could do that. I think that number will be higher. 'Cause I bet-
But I think we need to go with actual. I understand that you're concerned about the rates going higher, but if that's actually what's happening, we can't just artificially set something lower because you're uncomfortable with it. If he's got actual costs for actual staff time and the time that they're spending and a rate, then we have to go with what they're.
Well, the rates, the rate isn't gonna change based on the salary. The salary is the salary, but what I can do is try and get some, maybe take a billing cycle and they determine how many hours they're spending on that, and then maybe that's the allocation, but that might end up being higher.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is we have to be. We can't just artificially set it low. It has to be what our actual.
It has to be fair across the board for everybody, no matter what we do.
But
You
if it,
remember that though.
but
Fair.
no, well, no,
No,
it's
I'm
not
talking
fair.
about something else, dear.
Okay.
Never mind.
Because if that's the time
I'm
that's being
insinuating
spent,
something else with fair.
yeah, that's the time that's being spent. That's the time that needs to be.
Yeah, and I think I was trying to, for the sake of the budget, make it a palatable number.
Don't do that. Do the actual.
So I mean, so what I'm hearing is we have people that want the 17,971 raise.
I think it has to
Yes.
be actual. It can't be just, this is the way it was before, because this is your actual costs. You'll have a general idea after, well, even if you do the next billing cycle, you could even amend the budget.
So we do commercial monthly and then we do residential quarterly, so. I'll multiply the commercial by 12 and then the residential by 4. And get it.
And there'd be more efficiencies the more frequently you do it, but I mean, you have to reflect what's really.
And we have to recoup our costs. Yeah,
What do you think that number is?
I think the cautious number will probably move up to like 12. It'll be higher than that. The girl probably will be around. Mine should be relative.
Yeah, what do you think that 17,971 would go to?
Dude, how many water customers do we have?
No water
No,
customers.
Yes, we do.
Well, there,
Because we
We
still
got
have to
the-
Wait,
deal
you're
with
talking
it.
about commercial.
No, what?
It's the.
Right, but even though they're billed by Sussex, correct? We still have expense to deal with that, correct?
No. Really, I mean.
Okay, if we don't, we
don't.
don't. I just want to recoup our costs. Regardless of what the rates come out to be, we gotta recoup our money from the users. So that's why I asked the question. If we got 8 or 10 water customers and we don't touch it, they get a bill directly from Sussex, then we don't have any expense, but
We don't, Sussex handles all of that, depending on what happens with. The potential expansion of water down a.
right.
What expenses would you imagine?
I don't know. I don't know how the actual process works. If they get billed directly by Sussex and we don't touch it, our additional cost is 0. If the bills come here and we gotta touch them and then they go out to the users, then there's that expense. That's all I'm saying. And what Dan is saying is we don't touch them, so therefore there's no expense.
Until we actually have a water utility, we will.
Okay, then
As
we'll
soon as
deal
we
with it
do,
at that
we put a
time.
water tower in Plainview, all of a sudden, all of the billings that Sussex has been doing will come to us and we'll have to bill.
Yeah,
We'll probably have to
Okay,
pay back for the water mains and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But we'll have an agreement with Sussex that payback number is.
we'll deal with that next time.
I only have one other question if I can. The utilities went down significantly. Is there something? Is that correct?
The user fees,
So the utilities
So-
budget.
12,000,
Went from 12,000 to 4,500. Oh, let's see.
Yeah, I gotta check that budget code because I don't think that 8,850, I think something came up and I can.
Oh, like something was coded wrong or something. in it?
Either it was coded wrong or there was something, some expense that maybe sort of,
Gotcha.
that they didn't know what to put it on. But
Okay.
yeah, it wouldn't have, utilities wouldn't have gone up $8,000.
I just wanted to verify that.
Especially with the runtime on those pumps in the last year. I think, I mean,
So the other thing, when you're talking about that, so my experience with treatment plants is they'll take a rolling average of your flows for like 3 or 4 years. And that's how they project your budget for moving forward. So we all just had 14 inches of rain. So when you're budgeting for that treatment plant cost, you have to remember that's gonna be kind of an anomaly that you may want to adjust for.
That's why I brought the budget to you guys.
Yeah.
So,
but those pumps, as we see in these monthly reports, have been running more and more, so that means that the electric bill goes.
that may merit that to go up.
Yes. Okay. Otherwise, I think it's a great first stab at this, I mean, as long as we include the increases, that's fine. We have to increase it, so.
So the one thing that I don't see addressed in for your utility staff salaries, does that include the highway staff time as well?
No.
We probably should.
Yes.
Oh,
He's been working on those grinders.
dealing with the calls and the visits and everything else regarding those grinder pumps, we should have. There should be a line item in there for DPW staff.
So it will be. So we would just add it on to that, or do you want a
Yes.
separate line?
No, that's fine. And to me, utility staff, it's billing and maintenance. We should have something in there so it doesn't come out of next snow plowing budget.
Sure.
And I don't know, do you code that stuff differently on the timesheets?
Right.
Yeah, but when you, if you get,
So it's allocated by your, so we have a spreadsheet that has different allocations for salary, so. Stormwater has some allocation, compost does for some of the offices that deal with, and.
but we should have one for,
We do have
sanitary
one for
sewer.
sewer, but we just don't have highway guys.
okay,
We want to
Should.
start kind of tracking a little bit,
Right.
just even if you don't do it this year, it should then get into this budget.
I mean, even if it's only a couple $1,000, but at least we. The right bucket is. Being taken for.
Okay, so.
A year from now, this spreadsheet will look a lot different.
So, just for general comments. We look at user fees, I'm going to check with Sussex. What, how we can increase the property. Hopefully, that number. I'll check on actual staff and with Nick, get the. Our expense. I will look at the utility budget, determine whether that decreases anyways, maybe potential. Storm, things all that. And then. Potentially get rid of the engineer admin. Bill customer account, and then also check with something. Yeah. A number.
Great,
Is anything here?
well, I think we covered it all.
Yeah, are you
These-
gonna bring that back in October, or are we done with it at this committee?
Bring it back.
We can bring it back, we'll discuss it a little bit at our. But, well, but
Yeah, but the budget will be already done by then.
November. is fine.
Okay,
But the budget
because there's no point in
publication-
talking about it.
the
It's
budget
already
publication
done here.
already, so. Otherwise I can just mail you guys when I have.
That'd be good too.
Formal action. Items to be placed on future agenda.
All right, to recap what's been discussed tonight, I've got the attorney opinion regarding I. I've got lift station status update. I've got the utility budget coming back. The sewer service area amendment status updates monthly, and then the sewer service code amendment, after speaking with the engineer. Is there anything else that I'm missing?
I have in the past asked to talk to the grinder pumps be put on here so we can discuss them. Because there was some talk about some changes a couple different times and nothing was ever done about it. So I would like to talk about the grinder pumps.
What are you telling them?
Grinder pumps,
Okay,
So, specific thing.
sure,
Just a
we'll
minute.
discuss it next week. I think what's got to
I
be
mean-
fair.
So we can publish it.
Sure. Grinder pumps cost, I don't know, or, fairness. Whatever, I don't care what you put in it. I want to talk about. We have talked about giving a 3-year, that we pay for the next 3 years. Or we stop it and say, hey, you're on your own for paying for your grinder pump, because we've been paying it for 30 years. And I think it's an exorbitant expense for the district to pay for private property. And I don't want to be held liable for somebody who puts underwear down and we're paying the majority of it. I think it's so unfair and so inappropriate. So
but
we
that's
gotta
already
discuss.
covered under the sewer code, is we've already got the item, it's quite.
I want to read it over. I haven't been able to read.
I know,
over it.
but I'm saying is we don't need another agenda item, I don't believe, because we're already gonna be talking about it when we go through the
Okay,
sewer.
then we
code.
won't have another as long as we can discuss it then, next
Yeah,
month.
it's already in there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I mean,
Thank you.
it'll address.
The utilities budget code, there is a $7,200 expense in there that I'll set with. I don't think that goes in there.
I wonder if that was for that flow meter. Think we have to run
Says-
electric to the flow meter?
It says utility bills are. Looks different than the other ones that are. Low 100.
I bet you she built the electric service for the flow meter that went in at the industrial park
To the two.
to the,
Yeah, but that flow meter was like.
just the
Yes.
electric service, to run a new service to it.
Oh,
Yeah, and that should have been charged, we talked about that, should have been charged to the TID, not to the
That's,
sewer utility,
yeah, that,
or
that,
sewer.
It's a capital expense, right? That's why it's charged to the TID. It is-
No, because it services the TID.
Yes, yeah. Thank
So
you.
if you track that $7,200, then yeah, we're right on where.
Thank you.
It's a guess, but that sounds like about that.
Cause we had the contractor pay the utility.
We entered.
Yeah, but contractor paid re-energy. We told them how much to put in their bid.
I will look at that.
Other than that, I don't think there's anything else. Us. Next month.
All right. Motion for adjournment,
Make a motion for adjourn.
made by Linda,
Second.
seconded by Joel. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
5:51.
5:50.
It's in time to watch the.